and there's no end to the civic apathies in Bengaluru. Lives lost again due to another tragic incident. An under-construction metro pillar collapsed in Bengaluru. A mother who was a software engineer and her 2.5-year-old child have tragically lost their lives, while two members of their family got injured after they were riding a bike when the metro pillar under construction came falling down. Now, the Bengaluru police have registered a case over the unfortunate tragedy. Political blame game has begun, with the Congress taking a 40% commission jibe at the BJP government, seeking the resignation of Chief Minister Bommai.
The foundation was completed, and we were tying the rods to take the pier work further. And it's an 18-meter long pillar. So the rods were tied up to start the casting of the pillar. And in this kind of reinforcement, we use 4 guy wires. It is all steel wires which are tied up from 4 sides so that there is no movement of the reinforcement. And one of the wire it just snapped. We don't know the reason exactly why it happened. We are going into the detailed investigation. This is not a bridge collapse. I don't want to enter but definitely whoever is responsible, we are going to take the strictest possible action against them. And as far as the compensation part is concerned, I am going to meet the husband. I will discuss with him, okay? And after that, we'll take a decision on that.
Government to take action on this, because it's not a silly thing to happen like this, because so many members used to go there. The same area is where it will be very rush every time. There will be no there will be no easy to traffic. Yeah, it's very much. So I request the government to take this complaint.
Also, ma'am, we've seen in the past as well in Bengaluru, even many people have died because of potholes. Injuries have happened in the past. People fall into drainages. There are electric wires that are hanging and people die. And this is no fault of any person and no fault of your sister in this particular case as well.
Yes.
So who do you think should be held accountable in all these cases?
Actually, whoever doing this metro construction project, they have responsibility to do this everything correct, because it's very much risky to roam there.
Thank you for speaking to us, and I'm sorry for your loss once again. Well, that was the sister, of course, who did, tell us that, whoever the officials are responsible for this construction, action should be initiated against them. Right now there are, other family members who are at the mortuary. They're waiting for, the doctors to complete the postmortem and, hand over the mortal remains. And it will be, the family, of course, will be grieving. And we should understand that a 2.5-year-old has also, lost his life in this particular incident. More importantly, as the family members here are mourning the loss, there is also a demand for action to be taken against the erring officials. Let's try and get in a word from one of the relatives here. Sir,
10 ಗಂಟೆ 15 ನಿಮಿಷಕ್ಕೆ ನನಗೆ ಈ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂತು, ಹಿಂಗೆ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗೈತೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನನ್ನ ಮಗ ಈ ಘಟನೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಆಘಾತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದ, ಹಿಂಗಾಗಿ ಅವ ಏನೂ ಹೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ತಕ್ಷಣ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ ITC ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮಾನ್ಯತಾ ಟೆಕ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ದು ಫ್ಲೈಓವರ್ ದಾಟಬೇಕು. ಮಾನ್ಯತಾ ಟೆಕ್ ಫ್ಲೈಓವರ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಈ ನಮೂನಿ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಈ ನಮೂನಿ ಫ್ಲೈಓವರ್ ಒಳಗಿಂದು ಮೆಟ್ರೋ ಪಿಲ್ಲರ್ ಬಿದ್ದೈತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಇರ್ತೈತಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಯಾವ್ದೋ ರೂಟಿಗೆ ಬಂದ್ವಿ. ಸುಮಾರು ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನನ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2 ವೀಲರ್ ನನ್ನ ಮಗ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಮಗ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ. ಆ ವೀಲರ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಪಾರ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸುಮಾರು ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ ನಿಂತೀವಿ. ಏನಾದ್ರು ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಜಾಮ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಬಟ್ ಅದು ನನ್ನ ಮಗನ ಮೊಮ್ಮಗಳಿಂದ ಅದು ಜೀವ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದು ಆ ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ ಅದ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂಗಾಗಿ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ವಾಹನಗಳು ನಿಂತು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ವು. ನನ್ನ ಮಗ ಪದೇ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ. ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ತಪ್ಪಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ರೋಡ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂದು ಮತ್ತು ಒಳಗೆ ನಾಗವಾರಲಿಂದ ಒಳಗೆ ಬಂದು ITC ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋದ್ವಿ. ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ ಒಳಗೆ IC ಒಳಗೆ ಇದ್ರು ಅವರು. ಅದು ಇನ್ನೂ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರಾಣಾಪಾಯದಿಂದ ಉಳಿತಾರ ಅಂತಿದ್ರು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಹಾಫ್ ಆನ್ ಅವರ್ ನಂತರ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ 2 ಡೆಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು. ಅತ್ಯಂತ ದುಃಖ ನನಗೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಈ ದುಃಖದೊಳಗೆ ನನಗೆ ಆಗ್ಲಾರಷ್ಟು ತುಂಬ ಹಾನಿಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಯಾವುದೂ ನನಗೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ನಾನೊಬ್ಬ ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿ ನಿವೃತ್ತಿ ಹೊಂದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಮೆಟ್ರೋ ಕಾಮಗಾರಿಗೆ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರುವಂಥ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದು ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಮೆಜರ್ಸನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಇವರು ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಮೆಜರ್ಸೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದೇನು ಒಂದು ತಳಗಲಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಪಿಲ್ಲರ್ ನಿಂದಿಸಿ ಕಟ್ಕೊಂತ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಯಾವತ್ತಾದರೂ ಗಾಳಿಗೆ ಬೀಳ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆಗೆ ಲೋಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೀಳ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಭೂಕಂಪನದಿಂದನೂ ಆಗಬಹುದು. ಏನೋ ಅವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕಲಿಂದ ಇದು ಘಟನೆ ನಡೆದೈತಿ. ಇದು ನಮ್ಗಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಇನ್ನೂ ಅನಾಹುತ ಆಗುವ ಸಂಭವನೆ ಇತ್ತು.
Thoya Jakshi, who is joining us on the broadcast for more on this. Thoya, this is truly tragic. If you could also help our viewers understand what really led to this accident.
Well, yes, absolutely. This incident happened today. This Nagwara metro was under construction, whereas the foundation was completed. Whereas I can tell you, see this, the foundation was completed. Today they were actually placing the pillars, and unfortunately, this tragic incident happened today. Whereas this pillar, while the construction was going on, this had collapsed, and you can see that now that the metro workers have, they have literally, the pillar is completely bent, and they have literally, giving all kind of supports, and now they have, this is also very dangerous, I can tell you. Whereas while this pillar got collapsed, they were a family which was going on a bike, like husband, wife, and two children, and while she went to drop her husband in Manyata Tech Park, he's a techie. While he went to drop her, while she went to drop him at the Manyata Tech Park, while passing towards Nagwara and going towards Hebal, this incident happened where this pillar fell, and it fell and hit the iron rod hit the mother and a 2.6 months old son, and they have lost their lives today. This is a very tragic incident which has happened over here. Like this, this is not only the first time. This is purely a negligence which was being taken by the BMRCL and the traffic, I can tell you, because the advisory from the police department was already given for today, because today they were constructing, today they were actually placing the pillars. So today they were, literally given advisory for all to take all kind of precautions to also to stop the traffic. But you can see this is a road which is having a lot of traffic, because this is a main road, whereas you can see that this is coming towards Hormau, Hennur and Nagwara, and also going towards Hebal. Hebal is having a huge IT park. It's called Manyata Tech Park. That's where a huge traffic comes from, and you can see now that the traffic has been deployed, and also now that the police has deployed, and now that they are trying to clear out the traffic from here. You can see that towards my right side and left side, they are asking them to use the vehicles have been diverted to service roads, and now that the DCP has come to the spot, and he's also inspected, and he's also given a statement that they will take this complaint, and they will make sure that the FIR has been filed, and give justice for the two lives which is so unexpected, that this tragic incident happened and two people have lost their life. Over to you.
Thanks for joining us with all those details. I would request you to please continue to stay on with us. We're also being joined by Bhavin, who's a citizen activist here on the broadcast. Many thanks for joining us here on the broadcast. My first question to you is, as my colleague Thoya was pointing out, that there was a traffic advisory which was issued. However, it was not implemented. That there are going to be some construction activities that are going to be taking place. Despite that advisory, something of this sort is happening. What do you have to say about it? All right, we seem to have lost that line with Bhavin, who was with us on the broadcast. I'm going to go back to my colleague Thoya Jakshi, who is on the broadcast with us. Yes, Thoya, you were of course telling us about the traffic advisory which was put into place. However, it was not fully implemented. Thoya.
So yeah, latest update I can tell you that in 4 people, 2 of them have lost their life, and the father and the son, the other son of the family has not having any kind of injuries, and now that the body has been taken into the postmortem, and now that you can see that the DCP is also over here, who is inspecting this spot where this incident happened, and also the managing director of Metro had also visited over here, and he also inspected this area, how this happened, and this you can see that the foundation is already done, and you can see that the roots are so weak, I can tell you, so that they were not able to, while the construction was going on, the workers were here, and they themselves didn't know that this kind of collapse has happened, and while the workers didn't know that even the engineer was here, this especially who was taking care of this stretch was also here while the work was going on, and they themselves, when this incident happened, they themselves took the victims to the hospital right over here. You can also see the hospital. This is the hospital. The victims were admitted in, and immediately the doctors had declared that they are dead, and this is a very tragedy that I can tell you. After this they got to know that the victims are dead. Immediately they had the Metro workers who was being in charge for this area, who they had informed the managing director, and then he had to come here and he had to see what and all is happening over here, and the traffic was being deployed by then, the traffic police were being deployed by then, and also the civil defense is also being deployed to clear all this. One of the tree is also being the tree is also cut down, and I can tell you that the branches are all fallen off, and because of this collapse, and civil defense are here to clear out all this, and traffic police are doing their best to clear the traffic from this place. Over to you.
Are coming in. Let's quickly listen into those.
ಇವತ್ತು 10:30ಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಣ್ಣೂರ್ ಟುವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ನಾಗವರ ಮೆಟ್ರೋ ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ಸೈಟ್ ಹತ್ರ ಒಂದು ಪಿಲ್ಲರ್, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಐರನ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಪಿಲ್ಲರ್ ಇದೆ. ಅದು ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಮ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅದು ರೋಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಿದ್ದಿದೆ. ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಮೋಟಾರ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಈ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಲೇಡಿ, ಒಬ್ಬ ಸಣ್ಣ ಮಗು ತೀರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಕೇಸ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ ಕರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಇವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಕರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಎಷ್ಟು ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಕರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಐರನ್ ಪಿಲ್ಲರ್ ಬಿದ್ದಿದೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಿದ್ದಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಹೌದು, ಮೆಟಲ್ ಪಿಲ್ಲರ್ ಒಂದು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದು ಬಂದು ಬಿದ್ದಿದೆ. ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ತನಿಖೆ ಮಾಡಿದ ನಂತರ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರಲ್ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ ನ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದ ನಂತರ ನಾವು ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಇಂಜೂರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೋ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ.
ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಪಿಲ್ಲರ್ ಸ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಸರ್. ಸ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋ ಪಿಲ್ಲರ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಸ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಸರ್?
ಅದು ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ.
Talk about the condition of the metro in question, metro pillar in question. There could have been a structural issue, which is why it could have collapsed.
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರಲ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಇವತ್ತು ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿಸಿ ಯಾವ್ದು ಸೇಫ್ ಜಾಗದಿದೆಯೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ಸೇಫ್ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ಸೇಫ್ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ DCP ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಪೋಕನ್ ಟು ದ BMRCL ಅಥಾರಿಟೀಸ್. ಅವರು ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಿಲ್ಲರ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರಲ್ ಸ್ಟೆಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ಲಿ ನಾವು
BMRCL.
ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಈ ತರ ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇದೆ. ಈಗ ರ್ಯಾಪಿಡ್ ರೋಡಲ್ಲೂ ಆಯ್ತು, ಆಟೋಲ್ಲೂ ಆಯ್ತು, ಈಗ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮೆಟ್ರೋ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಆಗಿದೆ.
those are other issues.
We are also a little bit, the BMRCL team itself is a little bit surprised as to why this has happened. So now the concerned contractor and the concerned engineers, they have been already issued notices, and also we have formed a special technical team to go very deeply into this incident and give us a report, basically because we are also worried looking at this incident. So we need to strengthen our the safety culture and the safety issues, or the requirement of much more strengthening of these kind of a thing. So we are looking into that.
So now the question comes again of accountability. Every time an incident happens, we see the first action is to issue a show cause notice, and then possibly after the investigation, these officers are suspended. But this has not put a brake on accidents like these happening, sir.
See, that's what I said. Basically, we have to look into all the, guidelines issued for such kind of a things, or the workflow of such kind of a things. And if there is any lacuna, then it becomes a part of responsibility of the other engineers. If it is not so, or if any other further strengthening or further improvement has to be done to avoid such kind of an accidents, so we have to look into that also. So that improvements will come only after the technical investigation team does it.
Okay, so I want to ask you, sir, now how often are engineers on the spot, sir? And one more question about whether all of the pillars now, sir, on this line, are they all going to be checked? How are you going to ensure that something like this doesn't happen? Because every time an incident happens, there is an assurance that's given by the authorities that we would ensure this doesn't happen. Months again, here we are with the same conversation, sir.
No, it is not months again and all, but I said it's an unfortunate incident, first of all. Basically, these kind of things, there will be a technical team, there's a quality audit team, there is a people who are there. And you asked me whether engineers are there at site. For every this thing, there are engineers at site and also they are on the shift basis also. It is not that only one engineer will be there kind of a thing. So now we have to look into this, actually what caused all this. Because there are safety measures which is placed. Okay. But now after looking at that incident, now we have to see what was the main cause of this. So that we need to strengthen now.
So you are saying that there were engineers, sir, on site when this happened, and in their presence or under their supervision this has happened?
See, usually when such kind of things happen, there will be people who are there. Okay, even our machineries, whatever is there, they will all be checked for their fitnesses, these kind of things. If there's a place, it's a total system itself is in place. They have to ensure everything. In spite of that, if this has happened, it is unfortunate. But if it is not, or if it is somebody's responsibility, or if it is to be further strengthened with respect to the safety kind of a thing, that needs to be investigated, and the technical team will give that.
Okay, and just one last question to you, sir, before I let you go. So, of course, this brings us back to the question of how every time an incident happens, there's some action taken against the junior level officers. Several questions being raised about how you bring in accountability into this, sir, now.
See, now accountability is everybody is accountable. It's not that the concerned engineers is accountable. For that, everybody is responsible. Right from the the procedures, the guidelines, everything it's part of it. So now we have to see that these kind of things do not reoccur. So that we don't need to lose more lives. So that responsibility will always be there.
And what about the contractor, sir? Has he been called? Is he being questioned? What is BMRCL doing with the contractor?
Yeah, contractor will also be issued the notices because we have to look into what failed. Because when I say that these are the guidelines, what is the failure for it? So that failure we have to look into. If it requires to be strengthened, we have to strengthen it. There's no other doubt about it. But for us also, it's a life action. 100% action will be taken. There's no doubt about all that. Looking at the incident, we will take action. It's not that action will not be taken. Action will be
against the
there.
contractor as well, sir. Action will be taken.
Now,
will he be blacklisted?
The notices have been issued against the contractor also, and also to the concerned engineers who are there at the site.
Okay, so the contractor would be blacklisted, sir, if there are lapses which are found?
If it's a major lacuna, yes, we have to take some action.
And if it's not a major lacuna, sir, the fact that 2 lives are lost is not enough reason to blacklist the contract?
I don't say that 2 lives is not this thing for blacklisting. I'm not saying in that terms. I'm only saying that until unless we have a complete detail. So to take further action also, we need to have something on record. So that we'll take it after the full investigation of the technical team.
Okay, thank you, sir. Well, in fact, you have the BMRCL there saying that they would take responsibility for this and ensure that incidents like these do not happen. But these are promises that the citizens have heard time and again. We'll really have to, of course, wait and see as to what comes out of this, what action is taken against both the officers as well as the contractor.
Right, Neha, many thanks for joining us with all those details. And with that, we are slipping into a short break. News and updates will continue once we return.